Good evening, good evening. Just bear with me. Whilst we get going, get everything hooked up, just going to throw out a couple of links and get ready. Yourselves a cup of tea. Get ready for the racing. Roughly 6 minutes to go until qualifying starts, so not long to go really. Looking forward to this, one of my favourite tracks, Brands Hatch. Good evening, good evening. Bear with me, just chucking out a couple of links so people can actually find me. Evening, Birthright. How's it going, mate? I'm not bad, thank you. I'm not bad at all. Right, I'm finally ready. I've got everything hooked up. Sent out the links. What time is it? Have I got time to put in a lap? I think I have. I think I've just about got time to be able to put in a lap myself. So let's have a quick look. I've just had a couple of practice laps. Not that I'm racing, but I do love Brands Hatch. So if I get a chance, which I am going to now, I'll quickly jump out, talk you through the track, so no one's right behind me, but it's good timing. So, into Paddock Hill Bend, looking for a good exit. You don't want to run it too wide, easy to run with a little bit of understeer onto that gravel, and then you've completely ruined it. Into Druid, keep it nice and tight to the apex, look for a good exit, run as much curb as you need to, it doesn't really matter. The same on this corner, Grey Mill Bend. And then through there, run as much curve on the exit as you need to, up into CRTs. Oh, kick of oversteer, bit of correction. Oh, I've messed it up. Just kept on the power instead of trying to save it. No, well, that was good. Talk through that. Don't want to take this guy out. Oh, nearly just took Mrs. Miggins out. Right, ignore that. Big spin. Down into Hawthorns. Pretty much brake at that last braking marker, hook up the apex in 4th gear normally if I was flat out. Down into 3rd for this one, take a lot of curb as much as you dare, try not to unsettle the car. And then, I never remember what this one's called, but through a tight right hander, blind apex and blind turning point, always tricky. Don't want to run too wide there, again so easy to make a mistake going on the grass on the exit. And then finally into clearways. finished the lap. Can I do a fast lap? Let's see. They're braking up the bridge. Down 2 gears. I've actually gone a little bit late there. Should have gone before the bridge slightly. Way too deep in to do it. Good job I'm not racing tonight. I'm making loads of mistakes. This is the trickiest apex, especially if you're side by side with someone. Tricky apex to get to and get a good exit out of. Crucial to get a good exit as well because it's a long straight. Good evening, Jamie. How's it going, mate? Steve as well. Good evening, mate. Fourth gear, good exit. Down a gear for this one. Miss the apex by a mile because I'm crap. But you should be hitting those apexes quite aggressively, really. You should really take that one quite aggressively like that. Get away with it. Anyway, I should jump out really. I think qualifying's about to start. But you get the gist. There you go. If you didn't know Brands Hatch, you've got some idea of what the challenges are of it. A couple of tricky corners. I really like Brands Hatch. It really does throw up some good racing. Anyway, I'll do a proper introduction now. So we're about to start qualifying. Welcome. Good evening. I'm ADG, and yeah, you're here for NxtGen Racing's Team versus Team, which is MRC, NxtGen Racing, SimFX and CRT Charlatan Racing Team, all in the Group 3 cars, and we are at round 9 now, so only two. This is the second to last round, and we'll jump in because qualifying started. Oh, press the wrong one. But yeah, round 9. This championship sponsored by Team Oliver Racing, Excite Energy Drinks as well. Go check them out on Facebook if you haven't done so already. Thank you for joining me as well. If you're a long time supporter, there's plenty of people that join me week on week, so thank you very much for that, much appreciated. Hopefully we'll have a good one tonight. Oh, new livery again from Burnt Fry by the look of it. Different colours yet again. Oh, it's a bit jazzy. That looks holographic almost. Fancy. So everyone on their outlap is making their way, hopefully, towards the end without any dramas on their outlap to kick this qualifying session off. But Burnt Fry's out first and normally does pretty well in qualifying, so we'll stick with him for the first lap. We'll actually go on board and see how he takes this track. Where's my on board? For some reason I can't go on board, so we'll keep with the bonnet cam. Looking for a late apex, gets the straighter exit. Not particularly aggressive start to Burnt Fry's lap. Looks like neutral stops, pushing a little bit harder, goes a little bit wide into Grey Mill Bend. Surtees now with Mrs. Miggins, looking for a late apex at Surtees, try and get back on the power as early as possible for the long straight. A little kink there before you get onto the straight. Damien in 4th, got a little distance slipstream maybe off Mrs. Miggins in front, so that's wise in qualifying. Good evening, if you've just joined. Kyle Todd, good evening G, how's it going Kyle? Good for you, good to join. Good of you to join me, Kyle. You've rendered me speechless, mate. Not bad, Carrington, cheers. Yourself? Are you alright? Good of you to join me once again. Hopefully, we have some good racing round Brands. Certainly got the opportunity to deliver good racing as Brands Hatch. So hopefully it pays off. The guys keep it nice and clean. It's a tricky track to overtake on, really, to be honest, because it's quite risky if you do go for an overtake. You're always risking something. There's a bit of a compromise, so it does make it interesting in that regard as well. Oh, I'm still sat there actually in qualifying. There we go, finally. Take myself out, I shouldn't be involved. Right, so far, Burnfry's managed a 121.620. So he's currently in pole position for the time being. Cutler in second, and he's 2 seconds off for his lap time, so a lot of work to do for the rest of the field to get anywhere near Burnfry's lap time. But we'll see what they can do. So the beginning of qualifying, just coming up to the 4-minute marker. 15-minute qualifying session this, and then we're heading to a 50-minute race tonight. Everyone's got to use all 3 tyre compounds, so the soft, medium and hard tyre, and the fuel is on ×3 I think it is, or ×4. Goes down pretty quickly, so there will be fuel stops involved in the 50-minute race as well. So I like these endurance races, and 50 minutes is a good amount of time to bring quite a bit of strategy into it with different tyres and fuel and everything else going on. So it normally comes pretty close between the guys towards the end. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. So let's actually commentate on what's going on at the moment. So we've got Burnfry in first, Damien in second. Damien not far off. He's got a bit closer than they were a minute ago. They were over 2 seconds. Got it down to 1.8 now, more or less. Cutler in third. Burnfry in a league of his own in qualifying this season, though. Keeps storming ahead and putting some ultra quick times in that are almost unbeatable. Neutron Storm in fifth, sorry. Lucky Bucky's just jumped into fourth. Just come over the line to set a 123.825, one of the CRT drivers. Doing well this championship as well, seems to be improving throughout. And yeah, it seems to be going well. I like it when you see improvement for the drivers. Just check on the chat. Good to hear you. Good, Carrington. Chewy, how's it going, Chewy? Those dulcet Yorkshire tones, you know it. You gotta love it. Kyle, need to hear your voice. I only saw you yesterday. Popped in. Anyway, Cutler pulling over to one side to let, I'm not sure who it was, didn't quite catch who it was, go through, carry on setting their faster lap, potentially. I've never seen that paint. I don't know how he's done that livery. It's quite interesting. Looks different, let's say. So we didn't quite go all the way down the field. Neutron Storm in 5th, Armin in 6th. We're 124.774. Oh, nice corner cut to get himself a good line into the pits. Tiny Tortoise in 7th. We're 126.817, so a little bit of improvement needed there to climb up the field a little bit in qualifying. Staying with Mrs. Miggins. Seemed to be going quite well in practice, which they were all in just before qualifying started. I only start the stream, but you know, with like 5 minutes to go before qualifying, but the guys have been in practicing for quite a while before that, so Mrs. Miggins seemed to be quite high up, so let's see what he can do with the remaining time of qualifying. Meanwhile, we've got Burnfry going round, still on purple sectors, so potentially setting a faster time here. Damien in second still, and Lucky Bucky in third, now Cutler in fourth. So Lucky Bucky's done well to get himself into third. I think he was in fourth last time I went through it. Oh, Burnfry losing all his time potentially there. Just running it a little bit wide through. I always forget the corner. Corner name. Oh, taking too much grass there. You can get away with a little touch on the grass and still gather it up and not lose too much time, but that is too much. Burnfry losing his time that time round. So that, I dare say, won't be an improvement. Damien on his outlap, coming across the line to start a new lap on fresh tyres. Oh no, sorry. I thought he was coming over the line. No, he's just gone through Druids, second corner. Confusing sometimes. Lucky Bucky coming over the line to start a new lap. Got warm tyres now, Lucky Bucky, so I don't know if he'll be able to push hard enough to improve. It'd be interesting to see. We'll watch this first sector time come in. Having a beer tonight. So, oh, Cutler in the background, sliding away, losing the rear end, spinning I was going to sing a song then, but I won't embarrass myself. Yeah, I'm having a beer tonight, so if I slowly get more slurred, you know why. Feel free to tell me to stop in the chat as well. If I become incomprehensible, then yeah, tell me and I'll stop drinking. It's nice to chill out, have a beer and watch this racing, as long as I don't get too drunk. Burnt Fry, just waiting, watching the guys come through. Let's see what Damien can do. He's in second place now. Oh, he was in second place. Keep getting mixed up between Damien and Lucky Bucket, my mistake. There's still quite a lot of time, 1.4 seconds to make up to Burnt Fry's fastest lap so far, so Burnt Fry potentially, if he can keep that pace going that he's managed in qualifying, if he can keep that going lap after lap in the race, he's potentially got a really good chance of running away and getting a really good lead instantly if he gets a good start. So it's up to the others to try and challenge him on the start really, and try and hold him up if anything. Otherwise, if he manages to get away clean and gets those kind of lap times in, he's going to control this race right from the start. So that's a bit of an issue when the qualifying times are so spread between first and second. The rest of the field will be quite close. Between Damien we have between Damien and Lucky Bucky we have 0.7 of a second, so not massively close actually. Lucky Bucky and Cutler are a lot closer, 0.04 of a second between those, 0.08 of a second between Cutler and Armin, so it's a lot closer between the midfield. But that's what I mean about Burnt Fry. Just seems to be in a league of his own this season, qualifying wise anyway. He's had quite a few wins as well now, and he's taken the crown off Steer Wheel Racing for the amount of wins. It's 5 wins to Burnt Fry. Steer Wheel Racing has 4, and there's 2 rounds left. Obviously this is an endurance race tonight, so there's only 1 race to win. So if Steer Wheel Racing can win this one, be interesting. Anyway, before qualifying finishes, I actually always forget to do this, and I'm going to do it quickly. I've got the championship table, so I'll quickly go through the leaderboard, because I always forget and don't give any context to the actual championship and just treat it like week on week racing. But I do actually have the leaderboard here, so we'll start at the bottom. Yeah, where are we? Yeah, so we've got Phil G in, I don't know what place it is, 13th place. Tiny Tortoise in 12th place in the championship. Bigsy, which no longer joins us anymore, in 11th. And then we have in 10th place, we have Lucky Bucky in the championship with 192 points. With 125. We have Sean F1 with 141, we have Armin with 142, so only 1 point between them. Father and son, Neutron, Storm and Armin. With 160 we have Damien. With 171 we have Gnarly Pop in 5th. He's no longer joining us really. 4th is Gumsy with 182, 214 points with Cutler in 3rd position. 2nd position in the championship is Steer Wheel Racing with 271 points. And then with what's that, a 44 point lead in the championship so far heading into this round, and the next one is Burnt Fry, so he's well and truly in the points. He's pretty comfortable basically for the championship already. So Steer Wheel Racing will need a really good result here, and he'll need Burnt Fry to have a bad one really to still have a chance at maybe taking the championship. But I can't see that happening, so Burnt Fry could actually finish the championship this race if he wins it, and Steer Wheel Racing finishes quite low down, so it could work both ways. At the moment though, the pace Burnt Fry is setting, it's looking pretty promising for him, I dare say, but you never know. It is a 50-minute race, anything can happen. How many have we got on track tonight as well? We've got 11 people on track at the moment, so there's a fair few people. We'll quickly go through since I haven't really been skipping through whilst I've been doing that. So Gumsy in 10th, Tiny Tortoise in 11th, sorry. Gumsy in 10th. We've got Phil G in 9th. Mrs. Miggins in 8th, a couple of minutes to go now, a minute and a half actually, and then qualifying's over. Neutron Storm in 7th, so they're pretty much coming on to the last lap now. 6th is Armin, Cutler is in 5th, Lucky Bucky is in 4th, Steer Wheel Racing in 3rd, pushing hard to get a faster lap by the look of it. Slipstreaming Tiny Tortoise, will he manage to get past? Tiny Tortoise holding the inside line, so that might have... oh, he's on his outlap actually, so I never look at that. I should look a bit earlier. Steer Wheel Racing on his outlap, so it won't be a big deal that. Mrs. Miggins in 3rd, just jumped up to 3rd as well, so that's a good lap, a 1:23.348. Again, quite a distance, almost 2 seconds off the lap time of Burnt Fry, but still fast enough to get into 3rd position, so again, tells you everything. Good stuff there from Mrs. Miggins though. Seems to be improving week on week, which is always good to see. Like I mentioned earlier, some of these drivers have a hard time of it when they first come into these championships, but you see them getting more and more dedicated to it, putting a bit more practice in maybe midweek, and coming out on top in the end, getting better results. So it's really, really good to watch. CRT, Charlatan Racing Team as well, pretty new group that are joining all this, and they've built quite a substantial group already by the look of it, and they're all pretty dedicated. They all seem to really support each other and everything, so it's really good to see that they're a good positive group, and it's good to see a new group popping up that's actually got something different about them in a way, and they keep it positive and support each other. And did a nice little tribute night the other night, which I missed, but I would have liked to have joined, for one of the members that died and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's really, really good support from those guys all getting together. Anyway, back to qualifying. I can waffle on all day, but just want to give some context to some of these groups. MRC, you might have heard of them, they've been going for a long time. Mature Racing Club on Facebook. We've got NxtGen Racing as well, a big group on Facebook. Go check them out, all these groups, if you haven't done so already. And then there's P1 as well, all racing tonight. I'll be honest, I don't know, there's that many drivers. I can never tell who's racing for who. Obviously, if they've got the liveries on the car, it's pretty obvious, but for other guys, it's not so obvious, so I never really mention it too much. How's it going, Morley? Very funny. Good evening, guys, from Garrett. Good evening, Garrett. So yeah, good stuff so far. Coming towards the end of qualifying, I think everyone should have finished now, so we're looking for the race start. Otherwise people might get a chance to get an extra lap in and improve. So we'll quickly go through it, because it can start pretty quickly when it hits start. Burnt Fry in 1st, we've got Cutler in 2nd, Damien in 3rd, Mrs. Miggins in 4th, Steer Wheel Racing in 5th, 6th is Lucky Bucky, Neutron Storm in 7th, Armin in 8th, Phil G in 9th. Neutron Storm and Armin are constantly together, so they must do a lot of practice with each other, because they do tend to be pretty close lap time wise, and pretty equal in qualifying. They are father and son though, so they probably do practice a lot together. Carrington sandbagging, I don't know who you're on about there. Mrs. Miggins in sandbagging, oh yeah, I think he's done alright there in 4th. So anyway, we're about to get started, 50 minutes. Hopefully these guys will consider that going into the first corner if they're side by side with each other. Let's see how it goes. Good luck to the drivers, and away we go. Burnt Fry gets a terrible start, to be fair. Cutler dives up into 1st. Burnt Fry having to defend the inside with Mrs. Miggins round the outside in 3rd. Oh, Burnt Fry's gone off. So Cutler through into 1st, Burnt Fry right to the back now, Mrs. Miggins in 2nd, Steer Wheel Racing in 3rd, Neutron Storm round the outside of his dad on Armin, around Druids, then we've got Damien in 6th, Phil G in the background going wide onto the grass, so dropping back, Lucky Bucky in 7th, in front of Gumsy, having a moment of oversteer though, Gumsy managing to get through into 7th, Tiny Tortoise up into 9th, gained a few positions. Oh, Tiny just getting his braking wrong though, getting onto the grass and ruining it all there, dropping back into 11th. Burnt Fry in 10th, getting it going again, and Phil getting it going again. They've all seen the grass already, these guys. Woo! That was a quick action start. So they find some kind of order now midway through the first lap. Gumsy in 7th. Let's see what's going on. Looks like Neutron Storm in 4th. That's a great start. He wasn't that high up in qualifying. Neutron Storm in 4th. He was chasing down Steer Wheel Racing. Neutron in front of Damien though. Damien went well in qualifying. See him go a little bit wide and lose the rear end a little bit there though. Bit twitchy coming out of there. Side by side with Armin heading into the last corner. Risky business. Armin could have pushed him out wide potentially. But they drive nice and respectfully and it comes out well. Armin still holding 5th ahead of Damien. Let's jump ahead a little bit further though. We'll stick with that. Move being made. So Damien getting down the inside through Paddock Hill Bend. Gumsy trying to sniff an opportunity behind as well as they're heading to Druids on lap 2. I'll get all the information up as well. So I have to go out quickly just so I can skip up the camera angles. Don't ask me why. Gran Turismo. So we've got Cutler in 1st, Mrs. Miggins in 2nd, chasing very closely as well, not far off at all. Cutler in the Audi R8 with an advantageous start and a good start over Burnfry there. Got himself straight into 1st place. Steer Wheel Racing in 3rd, closely followed by Neutron Storm in the Aston Martin. Armin in 5th, it's settled down slightly between the top guys now. Damien in 6th, behind there's a bit of action going on. Comes in 7th, Burnfry unlucky bucky, so Burnfry trying to make his way up the field quickly after that early mistake. Back into 8th position from being right at the back at one point, so doing a good job to say he's only on lap 2. He's storming back into this race. Purple sectors from everyone, seeing as though it's the first fast lap. Get my words out in the end. Lucky bucky in 9th. Phil G, so these guys have had an unfortunate start, touching the grass early on and dropping back. And now they've got a bit of work to do to get into it. Gums is still chasing Damien nice and closely. Let's see what goes on into Paddock Hill Bend for the 3rd time. Quick swig of beer as well. Damien defending nicely into Druids there. Let's go on board. Looking back. Not a great deal of chance of overtaking into that corner. Pretty tight and you do need to hit the apex. Down the inside meanwhile. Gumsy down the inside of Damien. Looking for 6th position, gets a good run out as well as Armin goes a little bit wide on the exit, so he gets involved and all of a sudden nearly end up 3 wide. Sorts itself out though. Armin losing a lot of momentum, so just dropping back into 7th. Has a little sniff at the apex as Damien goes a little bit wide, opens up the apex. Meanwhile Burnfry behind, looking for the apex on this one, side by side. Risky business, not wide through there. Damien in 7th, still holding it at the moment. Burnfry gets the inside line there and does make it work eventually. Tight corners to go through and Damien just backing out in the end, thinking better of it. Don't want to cause contact or have a big incident. Allows Burnfry through though into 6th, so good comeback from Burnfry here. Damien is not left alone though, as Armin's still right on his rear bumper. So good racing through towards the mid-pack and towards the rear. But good stuff, good position changes. Burnfry incredibly brave doing the overtake there. He did have the inside line, so he had the racing line to go through there and take the fastest line and go for the overtake, but at the same time not the easiest corners to do it through, so full respect there for Burnfry and similarly to Damien as well, giving the respect to not cause any contact. Could have possibly forced a little bit more of an aggressive defence and caused a bit of an issue maybe, but good to see that it didn't happen. Good evening Mike. Mrs Miggins, big supporter from Carrington there. Oh, it's a Ghost Rider. Oh, excuse me, Ghost Rider, sorry. Oh, that was a big one. Ellie Chappers, go on Damien. Good of you to join us. Hi Steve, it's J Racing. Is that J Racing? This guy, I'm not sure. Talking to Steve from CRT I think. So anyway, let's quickly skip back through, see what else is going on. So Cutler's picked up a 1.6 second lead at the moment over Mrs Miggins in 2nd. Mrs Miggins in a very respectable place though, and not dropping off too far from Cutler, so doing a good job in 2nd position. We've got Burnfry making his way through the field slowly but surely, and he might make his way towards these guys, so that's their that's probably their biggest worry, is actually Burnfry catching him up, because he does have the time. He managed it and he's now into spiff as well. I think he was in 6th a second ago. Yep, he's got past Gumsy. So he's now into 5th. I missed it, but good move somewhere along the line to get the move done. Neutron Storm having a great race here on the back of Steer Wheel Racing. Battling hard to try and get 3rd, last step of the podium. But yeah, it's going well for the guys up front. Bit of a gap between them, so they can just concentrate on catching the guy in front and getting in those lap times, hitting those apexes. Burnt Fry in 5th, bit of a gap as well. But as we know, like I've just mentioned, it's actually go on board. Let's keep an eye on the gap. So it's at 1.5 seconds at the moment to Neutron Storm in front. It's already down to 1.4 or thereabouts. Let's just see how he does up until the line, see how much he closes back just through these this last sector basically. So he's just taken over half a second, 0.7. So he's well and truly got that BMW M6 hooked up. We must have a really good setup on it. Must have absolutely nailed the gearing. Meanwhile though, we have a bit of a battle going on. Steer Wheel Racing trying for 2nd place, pretty close now behind Mrs. Miggins, closed in. And Neutron Storm's not far behind, bringing Burnt Fry with him, so it's all bunching up for 2nd place here. It could be anyone's in a minute. Let's keep an eye on this. We'll quickly go through, make sure there's no big drama going on anywhere else, and then we'll jump back to it. So, no, Lucky Bucky in 11th, Tiny Tortoise 10th, Phil in 9th. Phil just caught him having a moment of oversteer coming out of Druids, getting his foot down a little bit too aggressively, and there he's gone. No traction control on, I'm guessing, and if you plant your foot too aggressively, they're pretty forgiving, these cars, Group 3, they're not too bad, but you still can lose the rear end if you just lose it. And it can be quite hard to catch as well once the weight transfers happened. So gums it, dropping back a little bit off the battle in front, but you can still see it all happening as we've got Burnt Fry right on the back of Neutron Storm now. Neutron Storm no longer battling for 3rd place, he's battling to keep 4th place. So good stuff. We've got the tyres as well. I'll start mentioning that between these top 5 as they're pretty close together, and it might matter in the next couple of laps and towards the pit stop window. So we've got Burnt Fry on medium, we've got Neutron Storm on soft. The tyre wear's pretty good on Neutron Storm though. Medium for Steer Wheel Racing in 3rd as well. We've got soft for Mrs. Miggins in 2nd, and we've got Footlock on medium, so it's pretty much medium, soft, medium, down to 5th position from 1st. So yeah, be interesting to see how that works out, and obviously I expect some kind of difference in the timing of pit stops between those guys now. So Neutron Storm needs to push and use these soft tyres and keep with Burnt Fry really. Not that he'll know that Burnt Fry's on the medium, but that's what he needs to do. Stick with this race. Burnt Fry up into 4th now. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, if it was a good overtake or if Neutron Storm missed a little bit of an apex or made a little bit of a mistake. But Burnt Fry making it work, and now into 4th. Let's check in on Steer Wheel, is right on the bumper of Mrs. Miggins. 0.3 of a second between them. Good evening as well everyone. Thank you for joining me. If it's your first time joining me, thank you very much indeed. I really do appreciate it. It's good, and hopefully you enjoy the racing. That's the main thing. It's irrelevant what you think of me really. Hopefully you just tune in and enjoy it. Do consider hitting that like button if you do enjoy it. We'll get it out there, slip it in there slowly, slyly. So a good battle going on between these two. Mrs. Miggins holding his own, and it's Jaguar versus BMW. The Jag is a nice Group 3 car. I once drove it for a championship and I really enjoyed it, really good. Takes a bit of getting used to, but really good when you do. An amazing looking car when you actually see them in real life as well, the Jaguar F-Type. Looks awesome, sounds amazing as well. Cutler in 1st, Now got the lead up to 6 seconds. Just checking in on him. He's doing a grand old job, keeping his lap times in the 1:23s every single lap, so nice and consistent. Not dropped off the pace yet with his tyre wear. Mrs. Miggins having a little bit more stress with Steer Wheel Racing chasing him. Steer Wheel Racing now feeling the pressure a bit. Burnt Fry though. Burnt Fry right on his tail, looking for the inside into Druids now as well. See if he gets it. Oh, gets the move done quite easily. It looks like Steer Wheel didn't really defend it there. And these guys are battling for the championship, so Steer Wheel Racing might have thought would have gone for a little bit more of a defensive tactic and strategy there, both on the mediums as well, so that is well and truly advantage handed to Burnt Fry there. If they were on different tyres or something, maybe it could work out, but being on the same tyre, that's Steer Wheel Racing just giving away more points to his main competitor in the championship. Maybe he didn't want the aggro, didn't want the contact. You never know. You can't speak for these drivers really. They're incredibly close now as Burnt Fry tries to get second. Mrs. Miggins feeling the pressure. He's got him wiggling all over the place behind him. Blinding him with his reflective car livery as well, probably. I bet it looks a bit odd in the mirror. Down the inside, Paddock Hill bend, tricky corner to do it through. No contact though, good work there from Burnt Fry. You almost expect a little bit of contact if cars go side by side through there. And you'll know exactly what I'm on about if you've ever raced at this track on these games. So Burnt Fry doing a great job there through Paddock Hill on lap 10. We are 13 minutes into this race, by the way. Not yet called the time, so getting towards the 15-minute marker. 50-minute race, I will remind you. So an endurance race tonight. No two racers, just the one. So yeah, good stuff so far. Been some really good action, and the guys keeping it nice and clean as well. Not major dramas going on, or not towards the front that I've seen anyway. Steer Wheel Racing dropping a little bit back off the pack a little bit. Neutron Storm, similar story for him as well. He was involved higher up to start with, but he's now dropped off a little bit. Got a bit of tyre wear on the soft tyres, especially on the left rear. Gumsy in 6th. Obviously when the left-hand tyres are worn, you've got to be a bit careful through the right-handers. So that's where you loaded up the left-hand tyres, so you can't carry as much speed through the right-handers, and obviously there's a lot of right-handers through Brands Hatch, so it does slow you down considerably through the lap. Damien in 7th. Phil in 8th at the moment. Early mistake from Phil sent him backwards, and he's not quite managed to get back into the race yet. Armin in 9th. Lucky Bucky, unfortunately, in 10th. He had quite a good qualifying as well, so unfortunate to see him so far back. 46 seconds off the leader as well, so a lot of work to do. Tiny Tortoise in 11th, and we've got Neutron Storm in the pits in 7th position at the moment. Let's see where he comes out. Is there anyone? No. Armin's coming through by the look of it. Oh, Armin's in the pits, I think, as well. Nope. Armin's coming through, but he's not close enough. It's Phil behind him actually in 8th. Got a bit confused there, sorry. So there's a bit of a gap between all those guys. We'll jump back up to see what's going on between Damien and Gumsy. Pretty close between them, a 1.4 second gap. And then further ahead in 4th and 3rd, we've got Steer Wheel Racing right on the back, half a second behind Mrs. Miggins. Let's see if Steer Wheel can chase him down. Mrs. Miggins dropping down as we saw Burnt Fry getting past him. Oh, what's happened there? Ooh, big moment for Steer Wheel to catch there. Managed to gather it up just about and keep it going. Could have all gone wrong so quickly then though. So drops a little bit of time to Mrs. Miggins, gives him a little bit of breathing room in 3rd position. Gap's now 1.6 seconds between them. So the gap just grown roughly by a second, so all of a sudden he's a lot safer now with Mrs. Miggins in 3rd. Broken the slipstream as well with that kind of gap. So it's a good track, is Brands Hatch, but I do expect to see a few mistakes along the way because it is hard to keep it consistent, and especially for a long race where you've got to keep focused and concentrating for a long time. Neutron Storm now in 7th after the pit stop, starts his first lap on the hard tyre now. So gone for the hard tyre at this point in the race. Interesting to see if he'll go for a long stint on that or if he'll come back in. You have to use all 3 compounds, but there's no stipulation for how long you have to use them for. So it could come back in and go back on the soft tyre potentially at the end of this lap if he wanted to. But I doubt he will. I think he'll go for a little bit of a stint on the hard. Anyway, we'll see. Oh, that's Tiny Tortoise just trying to get out of the way of Damien coming through in 6th position. Tiny Tortoise getting lapped now. Unfortunate to see, but that's the case. Nice guy, as Mark Parker is called. Tiny Tortoise. It's the first I admit he's not the fastest, but he's certainly determined, and he does not quit. Mama don't raise no quitter. 3rd is Mrs. Miggins. This battle at the top is quite interesting. So Steerwheel Racing's dropped off again and is clawing back the time to Mrs. Miggins, but we did see it quite close, and then the mistake from Steerwheel. So let's see what he can do again on this attempt. Let's go on board with him actually. Not seen much on board action so far. Got quarter a tank of fuel as Steerwheel Racing, so he could still, on these tyres, they're not too worn, he can still go for a few more laps before he needs to think about pitting really. He might not do, he might think he's losing too much lap time and pit earlier, but he could potentially go for a bit longer. Oh, bit of a mistake there from Mrs. Miggins in front, missing the apex a little bit, so having to slow right down to make sure he gets through there neatly. And that's allowed Steerwheel Racing to gain right on the back of him now. Picked up the slipstream as well as they head towards this back straight almost before the last corner, which I always forget the name of. Clearways, is it? Let's call it Clearways. I know Clearways is one corner, so rejecting the action there. Mrs. Miggins pulls into the pits, rightly so probably for his strategy, but yeah, denying us of watching the action as Steerwheel Racing was catching him really quite quickly there after a little mistake through the last sector there from Mrs. Miggins. Only a tiny mistake, just had to gather it back up once he missed the apex, and he potentially could have gone wide, so he lost a bit of time, lost a bit of momentum, and Steerwheel Racing got right onto the back of him, but denied the overtake there by the pit stop. Damien in 4th. So the pit stop window well and truly open now. Mrs. Miggins rejoining us on the medium tyre in 5th, so good position to be in after a pit stop. 36 seconds off the leader, but in a strong position now. Gumsy has been in the pits as well, so he's on the medium, full tank of fuel and looking for the long stint now. Phil's got a little bit of damage, so Phil needs to pit sometime soon. Still got a quarter of a tank, so he could carry on, but he'll be losing lap time because of that damage. You don't lose too much, but he has got tyre wear as well, so as a combination he will be dropping a lot of time. As we can see there, the sector time 1.3 seconds down on his fastest lap, so he's certainly a way off, so he needs to pit this lap really to have any kind of chance of continuing and going forward in this race. Armin in 8th, just trying to get back into it. Neutron Storm in 9th. So he's found himself a lot further back than he started. He was having a good battle towards the front in the opening laps, but finds himself in 9th now. Also pitted on the medium tyre, fresh tyre on. Lucky Buck in 10th on the soft tyre, and gone for a bit of a different strategy. Tiny Tortoise in 11th on the medium as well, so the majority of the field on the medium tyre. Cutler will check in on him in 1st position at the moment with 8.2 second lead, so really doing well in this race. Took the advantage into T1 and he's not looked back since. He's controlled the race pretty much from that point on. Unfortunately, our pole sitter Burnfry dropped back and he's had to make his way through the field, so he actually managed to get pole position, and it was really quite a fast lap compared to everyone else. It was 1.4 seconds faster than everyone else re-qualifying, so Burnfry's definitely got the time, but with the mistakes he's got the comeback race to to try and get first place now, whereas Cutler has control of this race, and it's all down to him now. If he can keep it consistent, keep building that gap, he's got a good chance of winning this one. Cutler hadn't had a win for a while either. Oh, in fact, no, I think he won last week, if I remember rightly. Yeah, he did. Pretty sure he did. He won race 2 last week. Still wheel racing, not a lot of fuel left though, but looking to pit very soon. Damien coming in. Lap 15 now. 21 minutes into this race. We're getting towards the halfway marker. But I've enjoyed this so far. This is the point where it can die down a little bit because of the strategy between everyone and the difference in timing of the pit stops as well. So you can see a bit of a gap developing between a lot of the cars, but at the same time it can all come back together towards the end of the race as well. So it's interesting, if not at this point, towards the end with the strategy it'll work out, and you guys will end up a bit close. Excuse me, I do apologise. You guys will end up a little bit closer again towards the end. Oh my god, San Miguel, oh, she's treating me badly. Senorita. Right, Damien in 6th on his outlap on the soft tyre, so he's gone for a late stop really. Finally gone for it though, and he's got rid of the damage as well. I think it was Damien with the damage. It's hard to remember when I commentate on so many drivers. I think it was Damien. So Burnfry final in the pits on his mediums. Decides to dive in. Still wheel racing doing the same on the same lap. Both fueling up. Let's see where Mrs. Miggins is. Mrs. Miggins coming towards the last corner. I don't think he'll be close enough. Burnfry on the exit now. Coming out through Paddock Hill Bend onto lap 17. Mrs. Miggins is through at the moment, is it? Nope, still wheel racing. Still wheel racing, still in 3rd, so he comes out in 3rd. And there's Mrs. Miggins in 4th, not far behind. So, again, closing up because of the pit stops. It does work out. And it's, the race is still on. Definitely still on. So yeah, Mrs. Miggins with a 2-second gap between him and Stow Wheel Racing. Meanwhile, we've got Gumsy in 5th, trying to defend from Damien by the look of it. Damien down the inside. Gumsy just giving up the place. Gumsy with no defence at all there, so just allowing Damien to pull through. And Damien now into 5th. We'll be saying thank you very much for that. No time loss at all from that one. Obviously, if you end up battling corner after corner with some guy to get past them, then you lose a lot of time. But Gumsy doing him a huge favour there and allowing him straight through. He's on his fresh tyre and he can just chase Mrs. Miggins as fast as possible now, try and close that 4.8 second gap to him to try and close into 4th position. Oh, what's happened here? Who's that? Mrs. Miggins. What's happened there? Oh, he's got engine damage, so he's had a big mistake somewhere. Let's see if the replay works. It won't do. Please work. No. Maybe we can watch the start again. Great. Yeah, Mrs. Miggins picking up damage. So I missed exactly what happened there for that to occur. I think he's the only one. No one else has pitted, so I think it's happened on his own. And it was a mistake all on his own. But unfortunately, he was in 4th place when that happened. So unfortunately, having to pit an unexpected pit stop, dropping him right back there, and that's a real shame for Mrs. Miggins. He was having a great race there. Checking back in on Cutler, he's now got a lead of 24 seconds after Burnfry's pit stop, so well and truly secure now is Cutler. And it should be interesting to see what happens between these two in the second half of the race. Now up to 25 minutes, so we're at the half marker. Oh, Cutler's in the pits actually. So let's see how close this gap is when Burnfry comes round. Cutler will have to take fuel. Can Burnfry actually get 1st place? Yeah, I don't think he will. I think he's got too far to go. Let's see though. Cutler's out. Cutler is out. So he's already through Paddock Hill Bend as well. So going up to Druids, up the hill into the braking zone. Down 2 gears and away he goes. 4.7 second gap he's now got to Burnfry. and he's actually got the fresher tyre as well. So Cutler, like I say, in control of this race. He's been able to look at Burnt Fry's pit stop, think, yeah, I could probably go a lap longer, and he's managed to make it work, and he's still come out in front. He's got the fresher tyre. So again, advantage to Cutler. It's looking good for him as this one. Stir Wheel Racing still going strong in third, dropped off Burnt Fry. Unfortunately, quite a big gap. No slipstream in front of him. Damien still battling hard with Gumsy. This is good stuff for fourth place. This midfield battle has been the entertainment really between everyone. We've had a little bit of a battle at the front, but the guys in the midfield giving us the majority of the entertainment to watch. All coming through quite nicely there. Armin in sixth. Armin with Mrs. Miggins behind him now. Mrs. Miggins having that mistake, picking up the damage a lap ago, having to have the unscheduled pit stop. Now in sixth position. Mrs. Miggins is closing in on Armin. Armin taking a really wide line into Hawthorns, I'm going to call it. Oh. Armin in front, just taking too much speed through the apex, going a little bit wide on the exit. Managed to gather it up nicely, to be fair to him, so he had two wheels on the grass, but just dropped a little bit more time to Mrs. Miggins because he didn't have a mistake. Oh, there we see Armin dropping in the pits. Denying us again of a good overtake possibly from Mrs. Miggins, but Mrs. Miggins won't be bothered about that. Gets promoted into sixth place on lap 20 now. So Armin, let's see what happens to him. Phil G coming through the last corner. I think he probably... Armin was on the hard tyre, come for the medium now. So... And Armin's coming out now. So Armin's in seventh, with Phil not too far behind him, heading on to lap 20. Lucky Bucky in ninth, not far behind Phil either. So quite interesting battle still going on towards the back for eighth position. Lucky Bucky certainly got a good chance of gaining 8th if he can get his head down here. Both in the same car though, the Mercedes AMG. Looking for the late apex, both missing the apex a little bit through there. It's not a major issue, but it does mean that you're just slightly more hesitant to get on the power, and you've not got... You can't quite power on as fast as you should maybe be able to. Lucky Bucky taking it very cautiously through there. Looks like he's just happy to settle in between Phil G and just sit there, use his slipstream, save a bit of fuel potentially. And he needs a pit stop soon for tyres as well, so we might see that soon. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on what's going on ahead as well. Armin's getting caught by Phil though. It's not a huge gap between them. Cutler going wide. So Burnt Fry has got. What's happened there? So Cutler's had an incident on the hard tyre, probably struggled for grip and struggled to get used to it in the Audi R8. It can be a bit of a beast to handle coming in the pits as well to get the damage repaired. Doesn't need tyres, doesn't need fuel, so he's literally repairing the damage. Burnt Fry now our pole, well our leader, and the gap is huge now as well, so Cutler's more or less thrown it away with whatever's happened there. And Burnt Fry has now got a 13-second lead, and it keeps growing as well. So Cutler, that's really unfortunate for Cutler, probably just struggling on the hard tyre a little bit. But yeah, another unscheduled pit stop we've seen there, and that can be enough to ruin your race. As you can see, Stir Wheel Racing not far behind him now, and he's picked up his slipstream as well. They're about to head on to the longest straight on the track as well, so let's see if Stir Wheel Racing can make anything of it. Well and truly sat in the slipstream, 6 attempts behind him. Audi R8 versus BMW M3. Steer Wheel Racing closing in as well. Got the gap down to 0.3 of a second. Here we go. Not the easiest section to overtake through though, so just going to sensibly follow him, no doubt. Steer Wheel Racing, he's no newbie, he knows exactly what he's doing. So follow him through the corners where there's not much opportunity, but look at the pace through there. Gets a good exit, and now he's got chance into Paddock Hill Bend potentially. Looks for the outside line, so it doesn't look like he's going to get it unless he goes for the cutback. Looks for the apex, doesn't push particular hard through there, keeps it nice and settled. Hopes that Cutler makes a mistake, but no mistake. But Steer Wheel Racing looking pretty comfortable to just sit there and just use the slipstream, save a bit of fuel maybe. He might not want to overtake at the end of the day. Can be quite a handy position to be in. Oh, Cutler, oh, just going a little bit deep into the braking zone. Going a little bit too far out to the right hand side, just caught the grass on the brakes. And that was enough to send him round. So Cutler got away without picking up any damage. Nothing really to hit there unless you pick up one of the barriers, which would have been unfortunate. But got away without damage, but Cutler having a hard time on the hard tyre. And really struggling, making a few mistakes now. So we've seen him drop from first place, controlling this race pretty comfortably to third, battling away with his hard tyre now. Steer Wheel Racing just getting promoted into second. And there we go. Cutler needs to calm down, get used to this tyre and just get some kind of lap time out of it. Damien not far behind now. So Damien's potentially got a chance to claim the bottom step of the podium. Will Cutler come in? He maybe should have changed his tyre when he came in. When he came in to when he pitted to fix his damage, he should have maybe gone back onto the soft tyre and got rid of the hard tyre at the same time, because he'd already done a lap on it, so he'd already ticked the box of needing to use it, and he's already used the medium I think as well, so he could have gone on the soft tyre whilst he was on that pit stop. He's caused himself to have another pit stop potentially that he didn't need later on. So Cutler could drop down even further here with an extra pit stop involved. So maybe I would have potentially, if with hindsight obviously now thinking about it, but if I was Cutler I might have gone on the soft tyre with that stop. So that might cost him a little bit later on now. It might cost him at the moment as well with Damien behind him on the soft tyre. Bit worn, but Cutler on the hard, and as we can see struggling a little bit. Ellie happy. Oh, Cutler another incident, doesn't manage to get it back on track instantly, so that means that Damien just gets to drive through without any incident to avoid. So Cutler keeping over to the right hand side as Damien just pulls through into third place, taking the third step of the podium and doing a grand job there from Damien. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Good to see one of the CRT boys with such a high up result. Really good to see. So Cutler having all sorts of issues with these hard tyres. As we've seen, he had the pace early on with the soft tyre and the medium tyre, so the hard tyre is not his thing at all. Gumsy might even have a chance to catch him, now he's got damage in front as well. Paul happy about that, and Helen as well. Good to see you folks. If it's first time watching, thank you very much. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Mrs. Miggins in 6th, not far off Gumsy, so this is there's still 15 minutes to go in this race. The pit stops will happen again. There's no one, I don't think, going to the end from this point. But at the moment, there's some interesting action going on, and a few guys catching each other that you wouldn't necessarily be expecting to catch each other as quickly as they are. So Mrs. Miggins catching Gumsy in front, for example, here. Oh no, sorry, that's a back marker. Sorry, that's my mistake. That was actually Neutron Storm, which is further back. Mrs. Miggins getting let through, so it doesn't gain a position. That was a back marker letting him through there. Armin in 7th. Let's skip up the camera angle again. Phil in 8th. Checking in on these guys. Big gap in front and behind for Phil. Lucky Bucky, same for him. Big gap in front and behind. Neutron Storm in 10th, unfortunately. He's had some good results throughout this championship, but this maybe not his favourite track. He's struggling this week. and an incident early on dropped him back quite considerably, so he's had a bit of a comeback race if he wanted to get anywhere. His dad doing a little bit better this week in 7th, so he's going to have the bragging rights in the house tonight at this rate. We'll see how it finishes though. Gumsy coming out of the pits onto the hard tyre. Let's see if he can get the hard tyre to work. Hopefully he doesn't have the problems that Cutler's had. Comes out of the pits in 5th with Mrs. Miggins right behind him. So Mrs. Miggins well and truly up to speed on his tyres, and Gumsy on the cold hard tyre. So one little incident like that, Gumsy having to get used to it as he goes with pressure behind him straight away. So Mrs. Miggins has got a really good chance of getting past here. Gumsy is no doubt going to make a few mistakes trying to get his eye in on this hard tyre. Doing a good job through there though. It looked like he opened the door a little bit to Mrs. Miggins, but still carried the pace, and Mrs. Miggins didn't quite have the chance to get down the inside. Through Surtees into Hawthorns now. Really fast corner, down one gear, hit the apex, carry the speed, and then looking for tight apex here, don't run too wide, down into 3rd gear, carry as much speed on the exit. Oh, a little bit of a kick of oversteer correction which sent him onto the grass there from Mrs. Miggins, so drop back a little bit on Gumsy. Meanwhile in 3rd and 4th we have Cutler in the pits and Damien, so it'll be interesting to see where Gumsy is. Gumsy coming into the last corner now. Is it Clearways? I keep getting, I don't think it is Clearways, but I keep calling it Clearways. It can be Clearways for tonight. I know it's one of the corner names. Damien in 3rd. Let me know in the chat if it is Clearways, if you know Brands Hatch, the last corner. Or if it isn't, let me know what it's called. Gumsy in 4th. So it's all getting a little bit mixed up again because of the pit stop. So Damien secure in 3rd. Gumsy in 4th now. Cutler in 5th. Fresh tyres for Cutler. Gone onto the soft eventually as well. So like I say, maybe I should have done that earlier. Mrs. Miggins in 6th. We have our leader currently in the pit, so Burnt Fry. Just getting dropped down off the hydraulics. Getting some fuel. Go on, Mrs. Miggins. Got a supporter in there, Mrs. Miggins, from Paul in the chat. Some good racing from the guys tonight, and we've got plenty of support in the chat. Doing well. Steer wheel racing. Where's he going to be? He's going to be close to Burnt Fry here. Steer wheel racing now taking 1st place, taking the lead. Let's see what his fuel's like. Oh, so he will have to pit, and Burnt Fry potentially. Burnt Fry might go to the end now without pitting, so Burnt Fry will inherit the lead again, but he might have to get past on track. The soft tyre of Steer wheel racing is quite worn, so the hard tyre of Burnt Fry might be fast enough in the opening couple of laps of the hard tyre to be quick enough to catch Steer wheel racing here. I'm not sure, we'll keep an eye on it, but potentially Steer wheel racing's in a good position to finish off this race really quite high up with a late pit stop. Damien now fueled to the end, so Damien pretty secure in 3rd position at the moment. He's got an 8-second gap to Cutler behind him, so they're looking good for Damien for a podium. Let's hope that, fingers crossed, he keeps it going. Cutler in 4th, we've got Gumsy in 5th, Mrs. Miggins in 6th. Let's see what's going on throughout the field. Armin in 7th, Phil in 8th. Phil coming into the pits on lap 27, Lucky Bucky in 9th, Neutron Storm in 10th, Tiny Tortoise in 11th on his out lap, so Tiny Tortoise gone on the hard tyre as well at the end. So the hard tyre proving a popular choice towards the end. So Steer wheel racing currently in the lead, but getting caught quite quickly by Burnt Fry behind. It's just taken 0.2 of a second off him through the 1st corner at Paddock Bend. Let's go on board with him in car. A little bit of oversteer correction there, but nothing major as he heads down through I can't remember what it's called, into Surtees. Gap down to 1.1 seconds. Interesting on board with Burnt Fry, seems to be handling the hard tyre quite well. Still carrying the speed nicely through these tricky corners and not lost any confidence really by the look of it. Yeah, hopefully he does keep his cool and he's home and dry in third, hopefully. Cutler, as we've seen, he's on the soft tyre now, so he was a lot more comfortable on the soft tyre. The gap between Damien, it was 8 seconds a minute ago, and it is now down to 4.8, so we will have to keep an eye on that. He is catching Damien, and it could all change. We still have just less than 10 minutes left. I didn't quite realise we were that close to the end. I thought we had about 12 minutes left, and we've got about 8.5. So we are in the last stint of the race really now. Phil's fueled and got tyres till the end. Look at that, Lucky Bucky with damage all over his car. So Lucky Bucky either stays out or sacrifices a lot of time by repairing that with an unnecessary pit stop because his fuel and his tyres are fine. Neutron Storm still battling hard. Who's that in front? That's Armin in front. So he's actually a lap down his Neutron Storm on his dad in front. Armin, going wide though, Armin. Going very wide through there, so dropping a lot of time, letting his son unlap himself to his dad. But keeping 7th place, loses no position, but loses a lot of time there. Just going too wide and getting it on the grass, and having to gather it all back up. Who's that? Mrs. Miggins sat in the pits, dropped off the Rams, back down and ready to go. Comes out of the pits in 7th, ready to chase Armin down in front. Mrs. Miggins on the hard tyre at the end. Ooh, that might not work for him. Should have maybe thought about going for the soft and using the hard tyre. Maybe it was just right at the end, or if he hasn't used it already. Still wheel racing in the pits, there's a lot going on. Hopefully I'm doing this kind of race some justice and some keeping it in some kind of context. So still wheel racing. What's battling up front? Let's see where he comes out of the pits. Damien might gain another position. No, he's too far back. Still wheel racing's got enough fuel to finish the race. And he's now out into 2nd, so Damien is still in 3rd. Unfortunately, he's got a lot of work to do to try and catch 2nd place, but he can still lose 3rd place here. So let's keep an eye on Cutler for a lap and see how he does, because he's closed this gap right up now. It's less than a second between Damien and Cutler. Look at this as well, down to half a second, 4 tenths, 3 tenths. Damien is getting caught. Come on Damo, don't lose your cool. Keep it focused, you can defend as well. Don't be afraid to defend. Hopefully he's watching and he's listening. Obviously he won't be watching because he's racing, but he might have me on in the background, I don't know. Some people do. Can give you a little bit of an advantage because you know what tyres other people are on. So certain people do actually watch to give themselves a little bit more of an idea of the race. As we see Cutler just driving around the outside in the end. So Damien not being able to do much about it, and Cutler on the fresh soft tyre was getting the job done quite easily in the end. Around the tricky corner as well, so that was good overtake there from Cutler, not taking anything away from him, and they did do it around the outside. A bit of compliance I believe there from Damien for allowing that to happen. Could have caused contact quite easily, but good move in the end from Cutler and good clean overtake. Unfortunately that does drop Damien out of the podium positions, which I know a lot of people in the chat will be a bit disappointed with, but hopefully he keeps his head down. He's still chancing this race, still more than 5 minutes to go, and we have seen Cutler make a few mistakes throughout this race, so it's not over yet, let's put it that way. Oh, Armin, in 6th position at the moment as well, so he's gained a position since we last saw him, all over the grass, so get it going again. Keep it going, keep it going. Who's this? Oh, it's not actually Mrs. Miggins coming through, that's Lucky Bucky, a back marker actually getting the run on Armin, so he's not about to lose a position, but he is under pressure, and Armin going wide again, don't mess it all up. Oh, it's gutting to see one of the drivers start messing it up towards the end. But that is the difficulty in a long race. It's easy to lose your concentration. So there we see Mrs. Miggins making advantage of that. Armin's couple of mistakes, and Mrs. Miggins is through up into 6th. So good finish now for Mrs. Miggins. We'll see him in 6th position. Gumsy in 5th. Quite a gap to chase for Mrs. Miggins, 37 seconds. So I dare say he won't finish in 5th, but he can certainly hold off and try and hold off the guys behind for 6th. Armin in 7th once he gets going again. with Tiny Tortoise, the back marker behind him, battling away with him. Phil in 8th, Lucky Bucky in 9th, and Neutron Storm battling away with someone a bit higher up. He's been lapped, but he's still battling away with, I've forgotten the name because I can't see it. Damien, is it? No, it's Mrs. Miggins, sorry. Couldn't remember who was in the Jaguar then. Temporary memory loss. Neutron Storm in 10th, Tiny Tortoise in 11th in the end. Right, let's see what action's going on. The back markers are coming into play a little bit here. So Mrs. Miggins is getting chased by Armin incredibly closely. Oh no, sorry, and again, back marker. That's Neutron Storm chasing him. It gets a bit confusing for me. I'm no professional. I'm just trying to do my best, so I do make a lot of mistakes, I do apologise. Getting all the action mixed up with the back markers. Let's have a look at Burnfry's 19.5 second lead in first place. It's his to lose at the moment. Stairwheel Racing in second, Cutler in third. That's our podium at the moment. So Cutler, it'll be interesting to see if he does keep it mistake free towards the end of this one. He really does not like that hard tyre. We saw a lot of mistakes when he was on that hard. Damien doing well, still in 4th, very respectable position. Shame to see him lose the podium to Cutler, but at the same time he can still be proud of 4th. He's had a really good race to hold that. 5th is Gumsy. Not a lot of action going on, that's why I keep skipping through and just keep looking at everyone really. Oh, Burnfry's coming through behind some back markers, so let's see how he gets through. There is no ghosting, so they do actually have to get through the pole sitters and the faster guys. They do actually have to get past the back markers. The blue flags are being waved, but it's not always, not everyone's as compliant as everyone else, let's put it that way. Sometimes you can catch people at a bad point in the track as well and they'll let you pass, but it's not actually a brilliant place to be let past, and it's easy to make a mistake sometimes. I've done it myself. Someone's let me pass and I think, oh, sound, and then end up going wide because they've let me pass and I've gone slightly deep into the corner or whatever it might be. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there from Burnfry, caught it nicely. So Burnfry actually behind Mrs. Miggins in 6th place here, so Burnfry just about to lap the 6th position guy. So nearly lapping the whole field. Burnfry in 1st place. Interesting to see him come through though, doing a great job, keeping it nice and clean and not affecting anyone around him. And the same for the guys as well, giving him a little bit of respect on the blue flags and letting him through. It's always good to see in this championship, really good standard of driving, it must be said, and credit to the guys that race in this championship. So after this one, if the positions stay the same, I think that is championship over for Burnfry. I think before we even get to round 10, the last round, Burnfry's done enough to win the championship. So so long as he finishes in 1st now, he's certainly got a good points haul over Stairwheel Racing. I think it'll be enough to secure it, so that'll be good, and congratulations for that. So Burnfry, anyway, we're on the last lap now really, so we'll stick with Burnfry, give him a little bit of respect towards the end and just watch him come through again. But good racing from everyone tonight, really enjoyed it tonight. Hopefully you guys that are watching have as well, and hopefully the guys that are racing have enjoyed it, because it certainly looked like they've had fun. As we're getting towards the end as well, it means that I can pop my 2nd beer. There we go. Hit that like button as well if you haven't done so already, do appreciate it. If you do so, much love. So Burnfry's about to finish us off in no sexual way whatsoever. In fact, no, he's coming around, he's got an extra lap as Burnfry. In fact, 2nd place has finished, so Stairwheel Racing has come over the line, time's run out, and those guys have finished. Cutler in 3rd, so those two finishing on the podium. Very well done to those, congratulations. Damien in 4th in the end, managed to keep it nice and calm and round out that race. Unfortunately, towards the end, losing his podium, but still a good job. Gumsy coming over the line in 5th. Really good race from Gumsy. Didn't have a lot of action going on through a lot of that race, but still a good result and good consistent laps going in to be able to finish in 5th there. Mrs. Miggins has had quite the battle through this one and doing a great job for CRT to bring it home in 6th. That's a back marker behind him, so I hope he doesn't get too feisty and ruin the chance for Mrs. Miggins here, because they're going side by side. But that is a back marker, I believe. Oh no, it isn't, sorry, that is actually a battle. This is a battle to the line, so that's Phil battling hard to the line. Sorry, I didn't realise they were so close. I told you I get confused. So Phil, squeezing hard for the last corner exit, but Mrs. Miggins does enough in the end to finish in 6th. 7th goes to Phil, Armin in 8th, Neutron Storm in 9th, Lucky Bucky in 10th, and Tiny Tortoise is coming over the line now to finish in 11th, and Burnt Fry spinning his way over the line to finish in 1st in the end. Congratulations to everyone, great racing tonight. A few little mistakes early on that ruined a couple of people's maybe chances in that race for a good result, but other than that, some really good driving going on, some really clean overtakes. Don't think we saw one bit of contact on the overtakes throughout that race. Nice helmet there, designed with the NHS logo on. And yeah, really good racing. Full respect to the guys. And once again, thank you very much for watching. Cheers for the guys for racing. Can't do the commentary without the racing going on and those guys racing. So cheers for those guys doing the racing. Full respect. And yeah, that's pretty much me done. Is there anything anyone wants to ask me before I leave? Because it's always nice to finish in the end. I do enjoy watching it and doing the commentary, but I do enjoy resting my voice afterwards because it's a lot of talking. Congrats to everyone, yeah, good couple of messages coming in. Great race, Damo, finishing 4th. Helen, Damien, well done as well. A lot of support for Damien and the CRT boys. Carrington as well, great racing. Thank you very much, Carrington, appreciate it. Ghost Rider as well, thank you. Paul, thank you very much, and everyone, congratulations to everyone there from Paul. Super race from Paul as well. And yeah, great race, well done charlatans from Mike Austin. So really enjoyed that, and yeah, like I say, hopefully you did. Again, I'll remind you, hit that like button if you aren't subscribed already as well and you fancy subscribing, sticking with me, especially for the final round next week, next Wednesday at 8:30. Then feel free to hit that subscribe button. Anyway, I'm pretty much going to leave it there. Cheers again, thank you very much for supporting me and the guys in this championship. Take care, look after yourselves, and if I don't see you before, I'll probably do a video this week, so if you fancy watching that, feel free. But if not, I will see you next Wednesday. Take care, bye for now.